class, but just so you know, now we have technology so that your video will not be shown on that. So that's kind of cool. I don't have to say, like, remember, your face will be on there. All right. I'm getting it over to Jen right now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our June cooking class, which is really for July. But because the 4th of July happened so early in the month, we need to do this kind of stuff now so that you are prepared and you have some ideas. So welcome to our patriotic cooking class. As you can see, we went full gusto here and wanted to make sure that we were showing our colors, I guess you could say. So what we're going to start here with today is some crunchy chicken, and we're going to be moving through several recipes that you really could enjoy at home, which would be fantastic for that and share with people who are, in your household, but can also be options that you can bring or share with guests if they are coming over. And so we're going to want to start moving through this. And we're starting with chicken. Chicken is easy, right? Kind of more pick up with your hand style of chicken. So we're going to do some drumsticks. You could do wings if you want. You could cut some chicken breast into more chicken finger style. Any and all of that is fine. It's just really your preference for what you have. So we're going to go ahead and start with that so we can get that guy into the oven. And what we're doing is we're doing kind of an easy crust here on this chicken for ourselves. We want to add some crunch. We want to add some flavor. So we are using this sweet and smoky pork brand pork rind panko, basically, is what we've got. Just kind of happy accident, stumbled upon this guy, and it really adds a lot of great kind of smoky flavor. And we really liked that. And so we decided we're going to incorporate that for another recipe. So here we are. So we are using that. If you don't have that, if you can't find this one, all you can find is just plain pork rinds. We did provide you with a way to flavor the plain pork rinds to still get a nice flavorful chicken in the end. Not exactly like this, but still a very flavorful option. So either way, you are good to go. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our chicken. And what I did with the chicken is we've been soaking it in a little bit of cream. You can do this in a bowl or a container and really get them good and dunked into there. The cream or the milk, dairy, whatever it might be, will tenderize your chicken a little bit. It'll give it a little bit more tenderness, a little bit more moisture. So it is kind of a nice way to do that. I just didn't want to use a lot of cream, so I put it in a bag and I just smashed it all around, and then I let it sit so that it could get coated and just sit in that little bit of cream. So I'm going to pull these out. There we go. And I'm just going to put this in my bowl, and we're just going to get a good healthy coating here of the pork rinds on the chicken. We're just going to lay them out on the oven, and then we're going to let them fly. Now, you don't have to use your oven, right? We're talking about the 4th of July. So if you want to use your oven, that's great. If you don't want to use your oven, you can go put these on a grill. You could go put these on a smoker if you wanted to, right? You got options. Amber's going to talk about an air fryer option. So you got some different ways that you can do these. We've got the oven here in this kitchen. So that's what we're going to use. That's usually what most people have access to. That's fine. But I'm just trying to get a really good coating on these, with that little bit of cream on chicken and just a little bit of moisture that the chicken actually has. You can get a pretty decent coating here on your chicken. So I'm just going to get the rest of these all put together and nice and coated. And then because we like variety and, we want to feed people, we're going to have some chicken fingers too. So I'm going to toss these here. I did the chicken wings not the chicken wings, the drumsticks first because they're big. And I wanted to do those while I still had a bigger pile of pork rinds in my bowl. Then I can just get in here and toss these around. And I've done this before, even with my family. I just had the chicken breast, tossed it around in some seasoned pork rinds, You could actually do that even on the stovetop if you wanted to. But the oven's kind of nice because then you don't have to babysit it really. You can just toss it in the oven and walk away and do something else that you have to do in your day. And then you're good to go. So I'm gonna see if I can get some more of these in here. My pan is getting full, but waste not, want not, right? I don't want to waste any of my chicken, nor do I really want to bake twice, to be quite honest. We're doing it. We're getting them on. It's happening. It's happening. Yeah, this is actually a double batch. You would, usually the recipe that you've got there would be for one or the other. So that's why this is a pretty full pan. But we kind of wanted to show you both today, at least both the chicken fingers and then some drumsticks. So we're just going to get both of these on here. So it's a very cozy pan. That's all right. We're going to cook like champs. It's going to be awesome.
Oops. They can't see the pans.
Well, oh yeah, I'll pull the pan over here so you can see. So a very cozy pan full of chicken wings and fingers here. We're going to go and put this in hot oven. Okay, so if you're going to do this and you want it to be a reasonable amount of time, hot oven, 425 is what you're shooting for there with that guy. So nice hot. What that's going to do when you pop that guy in at that hotter temperature is really going to help seal that outside. And we want to seal the outside of the chicken so we keep whatever moisture is inside. And then we can get a good nice crust on the outside with that breading that we put on there. So we're going to let those guys do their time. Good 20-30 minutes, probably with that. You're shooting for 165. That's how you want to cook your chicken. So get that in there. You may need to temp it, but about 20-30 minutes is what you're looking for. And then we'll go ahead and pull those out. So that's the first recipe, y'all. Easy, right? We like it quick and easy, then move on. So we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. We're going to get ready for our next recipe. I'm going to let Amber share some interesting things with you, and then we'll be back. Okay. See you.
They can see you, when you're dancing. Okay. All right, everybody. Let me just turn her camera off there. Okay. Thank you all. Okay. So what we are going to talk about, someone asked a great question about whether it was on a raised baking dish for the, whoops, I got the wrong pictures here where we are. All my break pictures, where am I? There we go. The air fryer. That's what I wanted to have a picture of. Let's see. Elizabeth asked about a raised pan, and actually there could be some more circulation in there too, kind of like what we're going to talk about here in a second is air fryers. So like a convection oven, if you had something that was raised, sure, it probably would crisp up even more. We are a little bit limited in what we have available here, and so we just put it straight on the parchment paper in a hot oven to really crisp it up quickly. So that is what we did. But the coolest thing is we are going to talk about air fryers because we actually contemplated bringing one of our own here just to see, how much better it even would taste in an air fryer. But, digging into a serving of fried chicken, which is what we're making, or that kind of crispy, crunch and moist, chewy center. But sometimes, when we have these fried foods, they come with the hydrogenated seed oils and things that are not good for our hearts. They're not good for cancer risk and things like that. So enter in the air fryer. It's basically a stovetop, countertop convection oven really is what it is. And you can have potatoes in there. You can make low carb chicken nuggets. You can fry up some zucchini, which would be I'm a dipper. I tell all my patients to come and see me one-on-one. I love to dip things. So that zucchini just sounds so good with a ranch dressing or some sort of like a hummus type dip. So the air fryer, it literally cuts out 70 to 80% of the fats in it, and it also cooks it really quick on the outside. So those of you, I just got one for the first time. And of course the oven, if you have a convection oven, it's very similar, but I like it because it's a little bit smaller. I can move it around. I kind of am sensitive to heat, and even in the summer that thing pumps out, like it has a fan in the back, pumps out some heat. So I put it in my garage, which, it's already 90 degrees out there, so I add it to the garage. But yeah, so those are handy tools if you have one, and if you don't, but you have, like we have here, we have a hot oven and it works just fine. But it's kind of nice when you're trying to eat healthier and you really like that deep fried food. That's what's so great about the air fryer, is that you can have that crunchy, you can have that juicy, because what it does with the high heat too, it seals in that juice. So then you've got the moisture of the chicken, let's say, is locked in there with the high heat. So it's really just a handy thing to have. And those of you, like I said, wanting to do healthier living, sometimes they're small, like this one in the picture is a single unit. I know I have one that's it's like not a double unit, not a double drawer. It's one big drawer, but it has a divider. So you can do two different things. The key is not crowding your food. That's the key, because you want it to cook really well and really evenly. You don't want to have like a soggy piece of breaded chicken and then a overcooked piece of chicken. So anyway, just wanted to give you some info on air fryers. I think that, Jen, are you ready for me? Okay, awesome. I will switch.
We're back, y'all. Here we are, recipe number 2 for today. We're gonna do some jalapeno poppers, and we're gonna try and go for a smoky vibe with these guys. One of my favorite things to do, my husband likes to grow jalapenos, and I'm not used to eating a lot of jalapenos. I didn't know what to do with them all. So we pickle them, but I also figured out that if you fill them with cream cheese, wrap them in bacon, and put them in a smoker, they're amazing. But not everyone has a smoker, right? And so for those of you who have a smoker, you've probably already done that kind of stuff and you totally get it. But for anyone who does not have a smoker, how can we get a similar kind of experience, right? By just using the oven or just using the air fryer. So we can all participate with this. So we're gonna do an inside style smoky jalapeno popper. What we're going to start with here is 4 ounces of cream cheese. And I popped this in the microwave for a few seconds, 15, 20 seconds, to get it a little bit softer. So it's easier for me to stir, because I'm going to stir in about a half a cup of some sharp cheddar. You can just use regular cheddar. That's totally fine. The sharp cheddar has a little bit more of a pop of flavor to it. It's a little bit more powerful. So it is a nicer choice, I think. But if you just have regular cheddar, that's totally fine. Not a big deal there. So we're going to stir these in together. And then what we're going to do to get our smoky vibe is we're going to do a little bit of liquid smoke. I like liquid smoke. I use that when I do things like crock pot pork. And then I'll shred that up. And basically it's just salt and it's just some liquid smoke, and you get a nice smoky flavor, again, like you had put it on the smoker, and get that really nice flavor in there. So it's a really great way, again, to get that smoky flavor if you don't have a smoker. So we've got our liquid smoke, half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, depending on how you like that smoky flavor. So we're just gonna stir that in kind of gently here, so that it don't sploosh it around everywhere. And that's where our smoky flavor is going to come from. So you can kind of tinker with that, with the amount of smoke flavor that you like in there. But oh, you'll smell it. Smells like a smoker in here. It's in a good way, like a smoker that you cook food in, not a smoker person with cigarettes. Different smoke smell, right? A little bit different. Okay, so we got it. And then we have our jalapenos. I've just got 3 here that I'll do for you in class today, but the recipe does cover a dozen. So you want a dozen jalapenos, and then You'll also want 12 pieces of a little bit thinner sliced bacon. If you get the thick cut, you can still do it. They'll just need a little bit longer if you want to get that crunchy kind of a bacon there. But what we're going to do is we are going to fill our jalapenos. So what I did is I cut them in half long ways. I left the stem on, so it's kind of easy to grab. Keeps everything closed up. So I cut them in half long ways. I scooped out the middles. Unless you like the spice, if you want to leave some of the seeds in, again, totally up to you. But I took all the insides out. Then we're going to fill our halves. We're going to put it back together, and then we'll wrap it in bacon. So when you're cutting these, when you're slicing these in half, keep the halves together. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of like a puzzle, and you're going to be trying to figure out which two jalapeno halves fit together the best. If you keep them together when you're cutting them, that'll be a little bit easier to do. So, the nice thing about doing it this way is it is a little bit quicker to fill them. When I first started doing jalapenos on my smoker, I would just chop off the tops, like score out the inside, which is kind of hard, by the way. I don't know why I was doing it that way. And then I would go wrap them and bake them and put them in a container and put them on the smoker. And then I would eat them all before my family could have any because I thought they were great and didn't want to share. And you know what? Judge me if you want to. I'm sometimes a selfish person. I kept them all to myself. My husband's like, where are all the jalapenos? I'm the one who likes jalapenos. I was like, sorry. I'll make more, I guess. Oh, darn. Guess I'll have to use some more of your jalapenos and make more. So we're just getting these guys. These are some big jalapenos too. So if you have really, really big jalapenos, you might not have enough of your filling for all 12, but we make it work. So then we're going to take our thin slice of bacon here, and we're just going to wrap this guy up. Nice and covered, little blanket of bacon, boom. And there's some more. So I'm gonna wrap all these guys up and we're gonna lay them on our covered, you're gonna wanna do another parchment covered baking sheet there. So I'll put that on here in a second. And then you just put them in the oven, that's it, right? So again, you get that nice smoky flavor to them. There we go. So let's go ahead. We'll put this guy on right here. Boom. And then we'll go ahead and lay these guys in there. So again, I'm just doing these 3 today, but do all 12, do as many as you want. If you really like these or you want to take them to a party, or these could be fun, I think, for like football parties in the fall or Super Bowl or just anything. Picnics, kind of just stuff where people are getting together. And then you've got really a much healthier version because the jalapeno poppers in stores are dipped in breading and deep fat fried. And this is going to be better for you. And a lot of times people like them because they're handmade and they just look kind of cool. So we've got those guys right there. So as soon as the chicken comes out, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put those in the oven. So I'm going to set them to the side. And then we're going to have another commercial break, and then we'll be back for recipe number 3. See you guys in a minute.
Okay. Let's see. Turn off our camera there, everybody. All right, we're back. We are back. I got my mic on. I do have to ask Jen one quick question. So hold, please. All right, I'm back. All right, so we're going to talk about smoking food, because smoking is a method of cooking that's been all lost, right? Long time ago, people used to smoke meats and fish wrapped in large leaves over coals of an open fire, like the Native Americans. And in recent times, with modern appliances, stoves, grills, smoking of foods people still do it, but it's not really as common. And so there's now so many smokers that are available. So kind of coming back. There's gas smokers, things like that. So we just wanted to, encourage just that that flavor is super unique. So that's why someone invented the liquid smoke. I don't know. That would be a good good trivia. Some are cast iron. Some you've seen outside that people have that are like aluminum, and you drive by their houses and you're like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. So it's just an interesting thing that we used to smoke food a lot more. And then because jalapenos are so cool and beautiful, I thought I would talk about those as well. Something, just searching up some interesting tidbits about jalapenos, I found out that the Scoville heat unit of a jalapeno can range in between 2,000 and 8,000 Scoville heating units, SHUs. Jalapenos were originally from Mexico. It's a fruit of the capsicum pod. So it's let's see, average length of 2 to 3.5 inches. And it is America's favorite chili pepper. But here is the craziest thing that I discovered when I was looking at this, that the jalapeno with its Scoville heating unit, like I told you, 2,500, or I said 2,000, 8,000. But here is the crazy part, is what is, just to give you an example, the hottest pepper is a Trinidad Moruga scorpion pepper. Pure capsin is 16 million. A dragon's breath pepper is 2.48 million Scoville heating units. And something more common that we are familiar with, a ghost pepper, is 1 million Scoville heat units. And then a habanero is 100,000 to 350,000. And here's another comparison, those of you, a lot of us eat bell peppers. They are zero Scoville heating units. So we've got the jalapeno, pretty mild compared to the ghost pepper and the habanero, and seemingly completely crazy mild compared to the pure capsaicin. I can't say it. Anyway, capsaicin. And then the Apollo pepper, which is right below that, is 2.5 to 3 million. So anyway, of course, jalapenos are high in vitamin C. They actually have more vitamin C than an orange. So they are actually even more nutritious than oranges. So a lot of people think that oranges have the most vitamin C. Again, that's marketing, right? Marketing on the TV and newspaper back when I was growing up. Same with the bananas, potassium. So kind of a trick. I think we're almost ready. Are we ready, girl? Okay. I'm just blabbing about jalapenos.
All right. Amber's just blabbing away, which is brilliant. Gave me a minute to get myself all together here for recipe number 3. So we have our protein. We have a fun little finger food appetizer, snack, if that's what we want to call it, with the jalapeno popper. We always like to bring a vegetable in. And so what we're doing today, which maybe sounds kind of like an oxymoron, it's a roasted vegetable, but it is a cold salad. So what we did is we pre-roasted our vegetables. So let me show you. You roast these ahead of time and let them cool, and then you chill them. So there is our big tray of roasted vegetables. And you don't have to use the exact vegetables that we did, but the whole idea is that you get a variety of vegetables here and then you roast them. Roasting is a really great way to soften them, to caramelize them. You just get some oil and salt on them and let them go and just get that little bit of browning. And again, you can do that in the oven. You could toss some in your air fryer. Might have to do it in batches that way. I have smoked vegetables, just something like this, just right in my smoker. Just turn up the heat, crank it up, get whatever smoke level you can get going there. You could do them on a grill, charcoal grill, gas grill, however you want to do it in the summertime when it's hot outside. Totally up to you, but you want to get these roasted ahead of time and let them cool down. So that is going to be the salad part. And then what we're going to do is whip together a lemon basil vinaigrette. Now this has a lot of flavor. When you taste it, it's just going to punch you right in the It's very lemony, it's very basil-y, very, very flavorful. It's really, really good. Does it look green and kind of weird on the vegetables? Yeah. So when you serve these vegetables in one container, I would put the dressing on the side and let people go ahead and use however much they want to. That way it doesn't look like you have very green looking vegetables, which people might wonder about and then not have. So this way they can see the vegetables, they can see what's going on, and then they can use whatever amount of dressing on the side. I would say if you have a holiday that's very green, like St. Patty's Day, you could totally dress them up and get all your green vibe going. But what we're going to do is blend up this vinaigrette. So it's really going to be pretty easy. We're just tossing it all in the blender, and then we're going to go. Couple things, though, to let you know about blenders. If you've not done a lot of blending, at least with something like this, is that the order you put things in will make it easier or harder for you. If you have a stand blender where you just, you put the container on, you put all the ingredients in, you put the lid on, and you let it go, then you're going to want to put your leaves in at the bottom. Leaves in, and then all the other liquids on top of it. So the leaves are closer to the blades, and it'll break them up easier that way. But we are using a bullet blender. So we're going to put all of our other liquidy kind of ingredients in, and then we're going to put the leaves, the basil in on top of that, so that when we flip it over, the blades are on the bottom near our leaves. So we're going to go ahead and do it in that order. And we're going to get our flavors going. So we've got 2 lemons here, zested and juiced. There's all your lemony flavor right there. The zest is really helpful. If you leave the zest out, you're not going to have near the lemony flavor that it can have. So can you leave it out? Sure. But it's better if you have the lemon in there. So we'll set that right there. And then we have half of a shallot just chopped up roughly in pieces. I know it's a little hard for you to see. And then a clove of garlic. If you like things garlicky, you can do a little bit more, but we just have a clove of garlic minced up in there. So we're going to toss that in. I'm going to get my little scraper. There we go. And then your choice of vinegar. Some kind of wine vinegar is good. White wine vinegar, red wine vinegar. We have what is it? What is that vinegar? Rosé. It's a rosé vinegar. We already had it. We're using it. Yeah, whatever. It seemed fancy. Whatever you want to use. But we're going to have our vinegar. And we're going to pour that in as well. And then we're going to have our oil, right? The vinaigrette is, oh, thank you, Amber.
It's a rosé balsamic.
It's a rosé. Yeah, this is a rosé balsamic. So this one's lighter. If you had a regular balsamic, it's probably going to be kind of heavy for this particular dressing. Not that, again, that you couldn't, but I'm just not sure the flavors would come together quite as well as if you had a vinegar that's a little bit lighter than that. So again, this is what we had. So we used it. Boom, there it is. So again, we've got our vinegar in here, and then we need to have our oil. Usually with vinaigrettes, got like a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 kind of a ratio here. So usually you have more oil than vinegar when you're putting a vinaigrette together, but that's kind of the base foundation of a vinaigrette is those 2 things. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our basil in there. It's about 2 cups, kind of got mashed down in here a little bit, but about 2 cups of basil leaves. If you have your own, use those. Way cheaper that way too, right? And fresh. Plus you can pick all the best leaves that way and put those guys in there. So you don't really need to do anything special with the basil other than just pull the leaves off the stem and use that. So I've got my blade. I'm going to tuck those guys in there. We're going to get this going. Sometimes this ends up being a little thick. So I have my little bowl of water here in case I need to add a little bit of water to it, which I probably will because it's kind of thick. And we ended up adding the water. So here we go. Okay. While I'm blending, you can't hear me talk, so I might as well look stupid on camera and do the Vogue, right? Whatever. All right. So give it a few seconds. If you just pulse it for a few times, it's going to be chunky. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's weird. Some people like that. That's cool. Whatever you like. But usually we kind of want a smooth product in this case. So you might need to let it go for a good 30 seconds or so. This one's actually pretty thin. I think we're gonna have a pretty good flow on this guy. So, I could probably kind of see me when I swirl it right there. Yeah, that's pretty good. So if it was thick and it was really just not moving around well in there, then I would say add the water. But this time we must have had enough liquid with all our ingredients that it was just fine. So I'm gonna leave the water out this time. And then we're gonna put this in a nice little container for your guests to go ahead and place on their vegetables as they please. Also, another little trick, some of y'all probably know this, but if you want an easy way to clean your blender after you get all of your contents out, then put some water, put some dish soap, close it up, run it, clean, rinse it out, you're done. Easy, easy. That was one of the favorite tricks I learned about blending, was how to clean the blender, because it's kind of a pain, right? So we've got our dressing, we've got our vegetables. I think we're good to go. I think we're ready to move on for the next commercial break. So I'm going to say, take it away, Amber. She's going to talk some more, do some interesting things, trivia, whatever it is, and we're going to get ready for our last and obviously best recipe, right?
Sorry, Jen, I kind of cut you off before you're done talking. Well, I was going to talk about alternative sweeteners because we're about to do the dessert, but I got to do a little trivia. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do, let's see, the next break. Yeah, let's do a little trivia. And then on the next break, we'll talk about alternative sweeteners. I forgot we got one final break after this one. So I thought I had it all dialed and organized and kind of got flipped up a little bit. So we've got some fun trivia about the 4th of July. I know it's crazy, but it's 2 weeks away, 2 weeks and a couple days. So it's coming up. Let's see. The first celebration of Independence Day was in Philadelphia in 1777. Kind of fun trivia. The one thing that I didn't know, the location of the oldest 4th of July parade is in Bristol, Rhode Island. And then this one probably everyone knows. What is the most commonly consumed food here in America? Of course, celebrating 4th of July. What is the most commonly consumed food? I'll let you guys type that in the chat because you probably know it. The most commonly consumed food on the 4th of July. Jen guessed it. Cheeseburgers. It's hot dogs. You were close, Elizabeth. But Jen blurted it out. Jeez, she blurted it out. You want to know how many hot dogs we eat, though, in this country on that day? This will blow your mind. 150 million hot dogs. Man, there's only like 350 million people in America, and we eat that many hot dogs. Woohoo! Okay. And then the first year that fireworks were used, this kind of blew my mind for the 4th of July. Same year that it started, same year that we started celebrating it, which was 1777. I guess that makes sense that there would be fireworks the same day, same year we started celebrating it. Let's see. What else is kind of fun? Which country declared independence from the United States on July 4th, 1960? Which country declared independence from the United States? I didn't even know that they were part of the United States before that. Those of you might know. Some of you a little bit older than me, maybe on the chat. Which country declared independence from the United States on July 4th, 1960? No answers yet. Crickets. Come on. I bet Jen knows this. She's our trivia master. The Philippines. The Philippines. I had no idea that they were part of well, you know, they were like Guam or something. They were, yeah. So they are independent. Okay, let's see. Any other cool things about I'm killing time. I could talk about alternative sweeteners now. My goodness. We are excited about this dessert and it's pretty easy. A lot of my patients when they come in for their 6-week are kind of blown away that you can make things like we're going to make today. And I think that's what's so cool about some of these sugar sweeteners is that you can make a dessert that you can share with your family. A lot of you have kids, a lot of you have family gatherings coming up in a couple weeks, and you can share this food and you can eat it, which is the coolest part. You know, some of our recipes calorie wise are a little higher than you're going to eat every day. I notice that because I'm the one that puts them into the nutrition analysis. So right, for a slice of this dessert that we're going to be making, which a lot of you, if you're just post-surgical, will not be able to eat a whole slice anyway. But, you know, it's about 250. It's like a good cookie, but it's pretty decent carbs, a little bit of protein, got a little bit of calcium. So, and the carbs are really coming from the fruit. I mean, there's really no other carbs. So a little bit from the almond flour on this upcoming recipe. So it's pretty great. And honestly, you could cut it into smaller servings. We cut it into 12. So I'm done with the 4th of July trivia. I'm sure there's a lot more. Some of it was kind of boring. I thought, who was born on 4th of July? There's a couple people that were important that were born on the 4th of July. So, but you know, whatever. All right. I'm going to go back to Jen in the kitchen.
We don't care about those people unless it's one of you, then we care. So if your birthday is the 4th of July, happy early birthday. But if not, happy birthday when your birthday is. All right, let's get to dessert. So it's nice to have dessert, right? And it's tough when you're trying not to have a lot of sugar and you're trying to find things that are fun for you or fun to share. And the colors are red, white, and blue for that day. So we wanted to come up with something that you could have, you could share. This turned out fantastic, by the way. So we've got our almond shortbread crusted fruit pizza. And of course, it's got the red, white, and blue on it. So it's going to be kind of fun and colorful. So we're going to, we pre-cooked the crust. So I've got that here for you. So you take all the ingredients, basically. It's kind of hard to see, but there it is, a little closer. Little more brownie brown than we normally like, but you're going to cover that with frosting anyway, so no one's going to know. So it's good and done. You got to let this cool entirely. And basically, you take all the ingredients. It's easier if you have a food processor, you know, mix them all together, break all the butter up in there, make a nice dough, roll it out in a circular shape as much as you can between 2 sheets of parchment paper. Those are your friends, or wax paper. In that case, you could do that since you're not baking it. So you're just trying to get a nice thin sheet. And then what Amber did to get this nice pretty circle is she took a big mixing bowl and she inverted it on top and she scored around the bowl, and voila, perfect circles. Yeah, and be careful when you're doing that. If you use a really sharp knife, you are going to cut the parchment paper that you should have on the bottom, because then you can just slide that right onto your baking sheet. So use something that will cut the dough, but kind of dull, so you're not actually cutting the paper. And then, you know, we popped this into the oven, not super hot, about 300 degrees on this guy. It doesn't have to go for a super long time, but you do need to get it in and out in enough time that it can cool completely before you're ready to decorate it. Any of you have ever tried to frost something while it was still hot? It don't go so good, does it? Yeah, your frosting just smears and melts all over the place. So perfectly cool. Thank you very much. And we got to make the frosting. Okay, cream cheese frosting is what we've got going on here today. So we have about 4 ounces of some cream cheese. Boom, right there. We're popping that guy in. And I'm going to warm this a tiny bit, just like I warmed the cream cheese for the jalapeno poppers. So like 15, 20 seconds here. We're going to do that. Good time. There we go. If you have a hand mixer, you don't really need to soften it. It does make it a little bit easier. If you don't have a hand mixer, it definitely makes it easier to soften it in the microwave for yourself. And then we're going to get out our little whisk, and we're going to go ahead and start adding the other ingredients here, which are a little bit of cream, and we got a little bit of vanilla, and we've got a little bit of a sweetener here. So we've got this is about a 1/4 cup of powdered sweetener. We have Swerve this time, powdered erythritol, a powdered monk fruit, whatever it is that you like to use, but you do want it powdered because otherwise you get gritty granular frosting instead of nice smooth frosting. So that's what we'll want in here. And we need a little bit of cream, usually just a couple tablespoons or so right around in there, just to give a little bit more of a thinner texture so we can spread it, right? We want it spreadable. And then just a little bit of vanilla. We got about a half a teaspoon going on in there. And we're just going to go ahead nice and carefully give it a good stir and just whip it up until it's nice and smooth. Doesn't take too long really to do. And then we're going to go ahead and spread this onto our perfectly round crust that Amber made for us. And then after that, we're going to zhuzh it. We're going to zhuzh it up. We're going to make it patriotic. So go ahead and spread this guy out, right? There we go. Darn it. Waste not, want not. There we go. So I'm going to get this guy, my little scraper. Again, try and get it all out. And I'm just going to spread it out all the way to the edges, all the way. Crust to crust is a must. And that is what we want to do. So there is going to be enough. Have a little patience and get it all spread around to the edges. Plus, in this case, we're going to cover up the slightly over-browned product that we have. No biggie. It's going to taste good. So we're getting it all nice and spread out. And then, of course, we're going to use some fruit, right? Because we can get that nice blue and red color. So blue, we got blueberries. You could probably do blackberries too if you wanted to do that and kind of get that color vibe going for yourself. And then we're using raspberries. You could use strawberries, or if there's another nice red fruit that you want to use, you sure can. So what I'm going to do is, here we go, I'll show it to you. Easy peasy. Well, you can't really see it, can you?
You can.
Can you kind of? Yeah, there we go. So all the way around to the crust edges. And then I'm going to pass it off to the side. And our dear Shirley, who does our beautification for us, is going to go ahead and make the stripes and stars here with the blueberries, with the raspberries, and then we've just got a can of whipped cream that we're just hitting for the white stripes there. Really, really nice and easy. And then you look amazing bringing this into a party. So we're going to go ahead and take our last commercial break. We're going to get all of this pulled together so we can show you here in the last few minutes. We're going to be good to go. See you later, y'all.
Okay, everybody. Starting to smell really good in here. We need the jalapeno poppers out, my dear. I had the timer set for them on my watch. Oh, you had the timer for the chicken on the microwave. That's okay. Here we are. So we're going to talk about a little bit on the alternative sweetener tip because some of you are not familiar with the options that are available. And we really tend to lean on using the Swerve products. And I'm going to try to pop a picture into our chat real quick too, just to see if I can, just so you know kind of what I'm talking about. Like, what is Swerve, right? So we'll just see if I can find a nice picture, especially of the the one that we just used, which is the powdered. I use the brown sugar myself at home as well. Oh, this is nice, a little baker's trio, just so you know what it looks like. Let's see if I can copy image. Let's see if I can pop it into here, into the chat for those of you that are I did it. Yay. Anyway, just so you know what it looks like. It is a little bit expensive, right? But we don't use it a lot. You're not making desserts all the time. You're making it for the holidays, or you're making it for yourself, and then maybe you're making regular sugar items for your family members. So it just depends. So it is a little bit expensive. I'm not sure if they have it at grocery outlet, but I've had some patients tell me that they have the high protein chips and they have the cheese wisps and things like that at grocery outlet for like half the price. So I was like, maybe they have Swerve, and Swerve would probably be cheaper there. But we get it at Walmart. It's not terrible. I know that sometimes they have sales, but it is a great product that is made out of, most of the time, it is made out of erythritol and also sometimes monk fruit. So I was just going to say sometimes it just depends on which one you buy. So let's pull up the brown sugar just so that you know kind of what's in it. Sometimes people are sensitive to that. So this one the brown sugar has erythritol and allulose, and it's literally substituted cup for cup. And that is the part that's really cool because it just makes it easier when you're substituting recipes. Obviously, you also need to get some ideas on, like we used almond flour for the pizza and it makes an amazing sugar cookie. So you do not need flour to make this crust. And then the Swerve is a substitute 1-to-1. There's also another company that makes an awesome maple syrup. It's called Lakanto. Let's see if I can pull up that one. We've had it in class a lot. Those of you that have joined us, that's made with monk fruit. You probably have seen that bottle that we've had. So, I would say I have kind of a mess. What are you looking for? Okay. Anyway, let me just copy here. You just put this picture in here because this is an excellent one sometimes for sweetening things with the maple syrup. Oh, that is the same picture. I'm sorry, that is not what I wanted up there. Let me just go back to the picture here. Copy image. Let me see if I could put this in here. The reason why I want to bring these up is because, it can be, oh my gosh, it's not liking this. It's not letting me, I don't know why it's not letting me copy it. The Lakanto maple syrup. Anyway, it's made with monk fruit. It is not always substitute 0 for 0, but just depends on the recipe. Sometimes it is. So oh no, it says it is 1-on-1. So I apologize. It is 1. And then some people like to use different things like Splenda and things like that. I find that some of the ones that have sucralose or aspartame are just too sweet. So you're not going to use a 1-to-1 ratio on those. That's why we use the Swerve and the Lakanto, is because it's a 1-to-1 substitute. So it's really, really ideal for baking and making low carb, really keto. A lot of times we're finding keto recipes for our desserts. And even though those of you that are with us in our program are not on a keto diet, we still want you to be really cautious of your carbs. And so a lot of the great recipes that we find are oftentimes keto. Okay, before we see the end and say goodbye, I want to remind you that we are recording this, and those of you that have family or friends and you're like, oh, you got to get these recipes, or hey, you want to watch a video, we do have a YouTube playlist. You can go to YouTube at St. Luke's Health System. There's the address there on the slide, and you can click on playlists, and then we did change our name. Oh, she updated it on my slide. Yay. Thank you, Maggie. Then you click on bariatric nutrition, and don't click on the actual name bariatric nutrition. Click on view playlist. Those of you on a phone, that might be really small, so I apologize, but it's pretty small on my laptop. I can't imagine, but you click on view playlist and that will show you, like, we have a ton of videos there. And then always we have announcements on our St. Luke's Bariatric Nutrition website with all of our upcoming classes. July, we're going to be talking about all the latest and greatest on different supplements, and that will be in July every Tuesday. And then of course we just had our support group this Wednesday, and today is our cooking class. Usually it's the third Friday of every month, but with summer vacations we bumped it up a little bit. Okay, we are ready to show you all of the awesome recipes. I'm going to hand it back over to Jen, and then we will be done a little early. We'll say our goodbyes. All right, and you guys have a happy 4th.
Yeah, we are givers. So we might give you a few minutes of your life back, right? That'd be okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we did today. We made our chicken. We can call it crunchy chicken, fried chicken, whatever you want to call it. But here's our chicken. We've got our drumsticks and we've got our chicken fingers there. So you're able to see that. I will tell you this. We just put it all in the same pan because we're doing both so that we could show you. If you cook the wings, they'll need a little longer because they're bigger. If you do the chicken fingers, they won't need as long. So just kind of have that awareness that you just need to hit that temp of 165 before you're pulling out whichever version you're cooking. Or if you want to do both, I would do separate pans so you can pull the chicken fingers out sooner. But flavor's really good. They're crunchy. They're still moist on the inside. Yes, this is a good choice. Okay. And then we got, hold on. Here it is. Jalapeno poppers. Look at those suckers. Woo. So we've got nice, little blackened, a little crunchy on the outside. And just so you know, I actually did a full teaspoon of liquid smoke. I know the recipe says a half a teaspoon. And so you'll sense the liquid smoke in that. I liked it more smoky, so I put in a full teaspoon into this recipe just to bring that smokiness forward even more. So again, do what you like with that. I really like that smokiness, so I did more. More is better sometimes, right? So we've got that. And then we have to have our vegetables. Here they are. All right, we've got our roasted vegetables. We got some little dollops of goat cheese on top here. Goat cheese, feta, any of those little kind of flavorful cheeses can be really, really good. So we put that on top here. And then next to it, you can have your nice little container with your spoon there of the dressing. So this still has that really nice dribbly kind of consistency. That's what you're going for there. So you can put that on the side so that people understand that it's a dressing for the roasted vegetables. So you got that there as well. And then the finale, the main and beautiful. Here it is. Hold on, I got it, girls. I got it. I know they're all like, don't drop it. I got it. La 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 la. There you go. Red, white, and blue. We got our cookie. We got our little star there. So you don't have to do that, of course. But if you have a star cookie cutter, there's going to be a little leftover dough. You can make some stars and you can put one of those on there. We just got our stripes of raspberries. Got all our blueberries. We got our little just plain whipped cream. There's nothing in the whipped cream but cream. We got that in there because we got a lot of sweetness from the other ingredients and components in this guy. So if you bring this, you're going to look like a rock star. Just make sure that anyone knows who starts to eat this that there's nuts in there in case they're allergic. All right, y'all. That is it for today. Are there any questions, comments, or no, Jen, stop talking. Give me the 5 minutes back. I'm good either way. Good either way. Not offended. In fact, I would be fine if we left right now because guess what? Then I get to eat it. And I'm cool with that too. But we'll just wait for a second if there's any comments. But I will say thank you so much for joining us. If you watch this later on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. If you want to let us know that you're interested in the recipes and you need the copies, reach out to us to that bariatric support at slhs.org email, and we will send those to you. But man, happy summer, you guys. Try these out. Let us know what you think. And because we won't see you again until afterwards, happy 4th of July. All right. I think I'm good. I'm saying my adieus and goodbyes.
All right, everyone. That is a wrap. Those of you saying goodbyes and thank yous, we really appreciate it. Trying to put up my last slide here. Happy 4th. I'm so excited that we get to have this awesome meal here. One thing that I typed, but just to let you all know that are still here, the last 5 people, the last 3 people, is that we do test everything. So even though the dough, we put in that second dough that you saw that was a little overcooked, we put that in after the chicken. So the oven was hot and we didn't adjust the time. We went too far. So the first one that's all beautiful and 4th of July looking is perfectly cooked. So we just want you to know that we test everything, and don't cook the dough after you cook chicken because then it's too hot. But anyway, we do test everything and it all tastes amazing. You know, even the dressing, I know it's green, I get it, but it is so good. So if you can get past the green, if not, you know what? Get an awesome vinaigrette, buy one, serve it with it. It is a great salad. Those of you that have trouble, like myself, sometimes digesting leafy greens, some of you may be in a different stage. Post-surgically, the roasted vegetables are soft and easy to chew. So have a great 4th, everyone. Take care.